Hello, lovelies. This is an unplanned video. I heard something on the news this morning and I felt like I really need to come on here and have a little conversation with you ladies. Remind you, a lady met a guy online. They met in person. She refused to have sex with him. He stabbed you about some things that I'm not sure if I've said them on these videos before, but they're definitely in the dating training that I've done put together. So I wanted to come on here and talk about this and share some nuggets of wisdom with you. Let's talk about it. But before I jump into the things that I want to say, let me first put out this disclaimer and ensure that it is understood by any and everyone watching this that I am in no way, shape, or form shaming or blaming a victim. Let's get that clear. And the woman that was stabbed was a victim. I am not at all in any way, any shape, any sense, any context, any connotation blaming or shaming her. So, what I want to get to is number one, I know this is difficult because it seems that men aren't approaching women in person as much, and dating sites are really popular. You may know a couple or two that got together on a dating site, but really, I am not a advocate or proponent of dating sites because of situations like this. Even with that said, I would recommend that instead of using a dating app, get yourself a matchmaker instead. Ladies, for men who are on dating apps, you need to understand that for the most part, those are predatory men. And this is a generality. I know that there are exceptions to these rules, so you guys, please, you've got to use some inference, take some things with a grain of salt, but do just get the message. Overall, the men that are on dating sites, they are looking for easy access, easy targets. They are looking to not have to put in a lot of work. They are predatorial, so they're looking for a vast grounds on which to they can prey. And important for ladies meeting a man that you meet him in person so that you can feel his energy. You can look in his eyes and see if he's giving you a psychopath stare. You can look at his facial expressions and see, is there any expression there? And if so, what is it? Does he give you sleazeball vibes? Is he giving you vibes like he's like looking through you, or only interested in certain things about you to see what he can get? There are certain nonverbal cues that a lot of people give off, and even these predatory men, a lot of times they give them off as well. But the problem is when you have a screen dividing you, you don't have the ability to pick up on those things. And even if you're doing a video chat, you don't have the ability to pick up on those things. It's not the same as being able to look into someone's eyes and determine, is there anything behind them? Is there any feeling? Is there any emotion? And that's another thing that I want to talk about, is being on your guard. So whether you meet the man online or in person, you need to do your research on him. You need to understand who he is, and don't just take his word for it, because we know men lie. Women are lying just as much these days, but I mean, it's been a known fact for decades that men lie. So investigate that dude before you meet with him in person, and you need to have a decent amount of interaction verbally with him before you meet him in person. You need to ask questions. So I did a more in-depth video on this on YouTube a month or so ago. I used Diddy as an example of some things that you can look at in evaluating these men, but you need to be doing that evaluation before you decide to meet with him in person. And even then, you need to continue evaluating to determine, is this person safe? Is he who he says he is? And if you get any vibe that he's unsafe, then you need to get out. Back to the story though, that whole scenario tells me that What proximity, where were you for him to be able to stab you? That's not something that's likely to happen at a restaurant in public. So, ladies, from that perspective, you need to protect yourself. You need to be mindful of the situations you are getting yourself into, and you need to think about it before you do it. So, don't be alone with someone you just met from online, regardless of how much you may have talked before you met in person. You don't know him. You don't know that guy. Clearly, this woman didn't know this man, and he stabbed her because she wouldn't have sex with him, and they just met. So, this is the atmosphere that we're also dealing with these men. And you've got to keep in mind, ladies, that these dudes have all kinds of porn. I might put this on YouTube, so I'm just going to go try to not get uh, blocked from any possible monetization, but these dudes have nasty movies at their disposal. There's OnlyFans. They've got the Twitter is wide open these days. They've got all kind of butt naked shenanigans right here in the palm of their hands, and then they're watching that. And then women these days, a lot of y'all don't want to put clothes on when you go out in public, so they're looking at all this TNA walking around. And if, particularly if he's a lame guy that doesn't really know how to go talk to a woman and, you know, spark a woman's interest and create a connection and essentially get some, these dudes are walking around thinking with the wrong head and being driven by the wrong thing, and they got the spirit of the devil on them. And you've got to keep that in mind when you are out in the public and you are meeting these guys. You don't know him. Unfortunately, it's you've got to consider the worst and delineate or eliminate all those things before you can open yourself up to being trusting to with a man so as to be alone with him. So, as a rule of thumb, don't be getting into cars with these guys that you just met. Definitely don't go to his house. Don't let him come to your house. Don't stay in public. Do not be alone with someone you just met. So that's all I have for now on this. I'm trying not to make this too long. I've already talked too much, but I did a deep dive into this evaluating men in my YouTube video. I'll link it for you. Also, I have a course on dating. It's called Dating with Class and Elegance. I talk about these things. Just about everything that you need to do or think of to prepare yourself for dating. And why do you need to get prepared? Well, think about it. When we go out to get a job or pursue a career, we might spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on schooling, education, certification, and then real life hands on experience. We put a lot of time and effort and preparation into a career or a job, but we don't do that for one of the most important roles in our lives. And that is when it comes to dating, creating relationships, and being married. We pretty much don't give that any type of training or preparation. So, what I have is an ebook and an e course where I walk you through getting your mind right first, your physical appearance, cleaning out your life essentially, looking at your history, and then of course evaluating men and some things to do to protect yourself during the dating process. So I'll link that below for you as well. Ladies, please check it out, and if you don't take away anything from this, please take this away. Protect yourself. Do not be alone with somebody you just met. I don't care how long you've been talking to them online. You don't know him. And then number two, stop telling your business. Do not tell him about your past relationships or your history of anything negative growing up. You don't know him. And yes, anything they know about you, they will likely use against you if it's something that they can weaponize. So with that, I've got to get going. I hope you find this helpful. Check out the video and the training. All links are below. Until then, always keep it classy and elegant, and have a great day. Bye for now.